The frozen cave mystery. The wind was cold and sharp, cutting through the darkness of the night. Snowflakes fell from the sky, covering everything in white. On a faraway planet, a small cave was hidden under the icy hills. Inside the cave, an alien woman and her little daughter were trying to survive. The alien woman's skin was light blue, and her eyes were bright, but now filled with fear. She wrapped her thin arms around her daughter, holding her close. The girl was shaking from the cold. Her tiny hands were almost blue, and her lips trembled. The mother whispered softly, "Don't be afraid. We will be safe, I promise." But deep inside, she was not sure if her words were true. Their spaceship had crashed days ago. They had walked for hours in the snow, looking for help, but all they found was this empty cave. The cave was dark and cold. The floor was hard and covered with ice. The only sound was the wind howling outside. The mother tried to stay strong for her daughter, but she was very tired. She had not eaten in 2 days, and her body felt weak. The little girl looked up at her mother with big, scared eyes. "Mom, I'm so cold. When will the sun come back?" The mother smiled gently, even though her heart was breaking. "Soon, my dear. Very soon." She pulled her daughter closer, sharing what little warmth she had left. Time moved slowly. The cold grew stronger. The mother tried to remember stories from her home planet, stories of heroes and adventures. She told her daughter a quiet story, hoping it would help her sleep. But every few minutes, the girl would wake up and cough, her body shivering even more. Outside, the wind became louder. The snow fell harder. The mother looked at the entrance of the cave. She was afraid that someone or something might find them. But at the same time, she hoped someone would come to help. Suddenly, a strange noise echoed through the cave. It was not the sound of wind or snow. It was a soft crunch, like someone stepping on ice. The mother held her breath. She wrapped her arms tighter around her daughter. The footsteps came closer. The shadows on the cave wall grew longer. The mother's heart beat faster. She reached for a small rock near her, ready to protect her child if needed. A figure appeared at the entrance. At first, it was just a dark shadow, but then a small light flashed. The mother saw a tall shape wearing strange clothes and a helmet with a clear glass front. The figure's breath made a cloud inside the helmet. It was a human man. The man stopped at the cave entrance. He looked inside, surprised to see someone there. The mother stayed quiet, not moving. She did not know if this human was a friend or an enemy. The man slowly raised his hands to show he had no weapon. He took off his helmet. His face was pale and kind, with brown eyes full of worry. He spoke in a soft voice. "Are you all right? Do you need help?" The alien mother did not answer at first. She looked at her daughter, who was now almost asleep from tiredness and cold. She looked back at the man. He did not look dangerous. He looked like someone who cared. The man saw the little girl. He quickly took something out of his bag, a small shining blanket. He moved closer, but stopped a few feet away, showing he meant no harm. He placed the blanket on the ground and pushed it toward them. "This will keep you warm," he said gently. "You look cold. Please, take it." The mother reached for the blanket carefully. She wrapped it around her daughter, feeling the warmth start to spread. The girl opened her eyes and smiled a little. "Thank you," the mother whispered. Her voice weak, the man smiled back. He looked around the cave. "You're safe now. I'll make a small fire. Don't worry, I'm here to help." He quickly set up a small heater from his bag. The cave became less cold. The mother's fear started to go away, just a little. For the first time in many days, she felt a little bit of hope. But outside, the wind kept howling. The snow kept falling. The night was not over yet, and dangers still waited in the darkness. The mother looked at the man and wondered who he really was. Why was he on this planet? Could she really trust him? As the fire grew, the shadows danced. On the cave wall, the mother and her daughter huddled close, not knowing that their real adventure was just beginning. The fire flickered, bringing light and warmth to the cold cave. The alien woman and her daughter sat close together, wrapped in the silver blanket. The human man watched them from a distance, his face half hidden in the shadows. Outside, the snowstorm raged on, but inside the cave, 3 very different lives were quietly connected by fate. The mother watched the stranger carefully. She had never seen a human before. His clothes were heavy and strange. His boots were thick, leaving wide marks in the soft cave dirt. He had a small machine on his arm, flashing a blue light every few seconds. The man glanced at the woman, and her daughter. He could see the fear in their eyes. He tried to smile, hoping to look friendly, but he knew they did not trust him yet. He spoke softly. "My name is Jack. I am an explorer. I came to this planet to study its secrets. I never thought I would find someone else here." The little girl looked up at Jack. She was still shivering, but now her eyes were wide with curiosity. She whispered, "Are you going to help us?" Jack nodded. "Yes, I will help you. You are not alone now." The mother studied Jack's face. She saw kindness, but also something else, a deep sadness in his eyes. She wanted to ask him more, but she was still scared. She wrapped her arm around her daughter and stayed quiet. Suddenly, Jack's small machine beeped loudly. He looked at it with worry. "Something is moving outside," he said quietly. The mother's heart beat faster. Was it another human? Or was it something dangerous? Jack stood up slowly. He took a metal stick from his bag and pressed a button. The stick turned into a bright blue light, some kind of weapon or tool. He went to the cave entrance and listened. For a moment, everything was silent. Then, a heavy thumping sound came. From outside, Jack's eyes narrowed. "Stay back," he said. The little girl hid behind her mother. The woman's hands shook. Jack stepped outside the cave. His light ready in the darkness, 2 yellow eyes shone back at him. Something was watching them. Jack spoke in a calm voice. "Go away. We do not want trouble." But the creature outside growled, a low, angry sound. Jack raised his blue light, making himself look bigger and stronger. The creature took a few steps closer, but then stopped, unsure. The alien mother and daughter watched from inside. They did not understand what Jack was doing, but they saw his courage. The little girl whispered, "He is very brave." Finally, the creature turned and disappeared into the snow. Jack came back inside, breathing hard. "It's gone for now," he said. He sat down, looking tired. The firelight made his face look softer, more human. The mother saw his hands shaking. Even heroes get scared, she thought. Jack took out a small packet and opened it. Inside was strange, dry food. He handed some to the mother and her daughter. "Eat this, it will help you feel better." The mother took the food. It tasted strange, but it was warm. She nodded her thanks. Jack tried to make everyone feel safe. He told a funny story about getting lost on another planet once, and how he had to sleep in a tree to stay away from wild animals. The little girl laughed, a small, bright sound in the dark cave. For a short time, it almost felt like everything was normal. But outside, the wind still screamed. And deep in the cave, everyone knew the real danger was not over. As they sat around the fire, the mother finally spoke. Her voice was quiet, but strong. "Thank you, Jack. My name is Lyra. My daughter is Ilani. We are not from this planet either." Jack nodded. "It's good to meet you, Lyra. You are safe with me." But as he said these words, Jack's eyes drifted to the cave entrance. He wondered what other secrets this strange planet was hiding, and if he would be strong enough to protect these new friends. In the heart of the frozen cave, 3 lives sat together, bound by fear, hope, and a mystery that was just beginning to unfold. Deep in the cave, the small fire made shadows dance on the walls. The warm light felt safe, but outside, the storm was getting worse. Snowflakes hit the rocks with loud, icy taps. Every sound made Lyra and Ailani jump. Jack checked his strange device again. The blue light blinked faster than before. Suddenly, the ground trembled just a little at first, then harder. Pebbles rolled across the floor. The fire's flame flickered wildly, almost going out. Jack's eyes grew sharp. He held out his hand, asking everyone to stay silent. The wind outside had stopped. Everything was too quiet, as if the whole planet was holding its breath. Ailani clung to her mother, whispering, "Is it coming back?" Lyra hugged her tight, her heart pounding. Then from the darkest part of the cave came a low, echoing sound. It wasn't the wind. It was a slow, deep growl, most like a voice. Something was moving toward them from inside the cave, not outside. Jack stood up, his blue lightstick shining brighter. He motioned for Lyra and Ailani to move behind him. "Stay close," he whispered. His own voice shook a little. The cave tunnel in front of them was pitch black. The growl came again, louder this time. Lyra's eyes widened. "I thought we were alone." Jack shook his head. "We're not." Suddenly, 2 small glowing eyes appeared in the darkness. Then another set. Then another. At least 3 creatures were moving forward, crawling along the rocks. Sharp claws clicking against stone. Jack remembered something from his research. The planet was home to cave beasts called frostlings. Small, but hungry. They lived in packs and attacked when desperate. Jack knelt beside the fire and quickly grabbed a glowing stone from his bag. He threw it to the back of the cave. The stone made a strange noise and flashed with light. The frostlings stopped, confused. Their eyes darted toward the light. Jack turned to Lyra. "Help me make noise. Wave your arms. We must look bigger." Lyra stood up, still shaking, but did as Jack said. Oh. She made loud alien sounds, waving her arms high. Even Ailani, brave for a moment, joined in, shouting in her little voice. The frostlings hesitated. They did not expect prey to fight back. Jack used his blue stick to flash even more light at them. The cave echoed with sound and confusion. Finally, the frostlings ran away deeper into the darkness. Their glowing eyes disappeared, and the growling stopped. Silence returned. Jack collapsed near the fire, breathing hard. Lyra fell beside him, hugging Ailani close. Their fear slowly turned into relief. For now, they were safe again. Jack tried to smile. "You were both very brave. Frostlings do not like bright lights or loud sounds. That saved us." Lyra managed a tired laugh. "I never thought I could scare a monster." Ailani looked at Jack with new respect. "Will they come back?" Jack shook his head. "Not tonight. We'll find easier food elsewhere." Outside, the storm was starting to slow. Inside the cave, Jack added more wood to the fire. They were all tired, but for the first time, Lyra felt less alone. Maybe, she thought, this human was a true friend. As they settled down, Jack looked at his device one more time. There was still something strange on the scanner, something big, moving far away, but coming closer. He decided not to tell Lyra. Yet, she needed to rest, but Jack could not sleep. The frostlings were only the beginning. Something worse was out there, searching in the dark. He wondered if they would be strong enough to face it together. The fire burned low. Shadows flickered. And somewhere deep in the night, new danger crept closer to the cave. The storm finally ended. The cave was silent again, except for the quiet crackling of the small fire. Outside, the sky turned a pale blue. Dawn had come, but the world was still cold and white. Inside the cave, everyone was awake, but nobody spoke. The fear from the night was heavy in the air. Lyra sat with Ailani on her lap, her arms tight around her daughter. Stared into the flames, lost in thought. For a long time, nobody said a word. Finally, Jack broke the silence. His voice was gentle. Last night was dangerous, but we survived together. He looked at Lyra and Ailani. I think we should tell each other the truth. We need to trust each other if we want to leave this planet. Lyra looked away, her eyes filling with tears. She did not want to remember how they got here, but Jack waited patiently. Ailani held her mother's hand and nodded, encouraging her. With a deep breath, Lyra started to speak. Her words were soft but clear. My name is Lyra. My home is far from here, on a planet called Iriah. I was a scientist there. Our people were running from war. We tried to find a new world where we could be safe. She paused, her voice shaking. We were almost there, but our spaceship was hit by something in space. Maybe it was a meteor, maybe something else. We crashed here. My husband, he did not survive. Her voice broke. Tears rolled down her face. Ailani hugged her tightly. Jack listened quietly, his eyes kind. He waited until Lyra was ready to go on. We walked for days in the cold. I tried to protect Ailani, but I was losing hope. Then we found this cave, and then you found us. Jack nodded. Thank you for telling me. I am sorry for your loss. Now? Jack took a deep breath. He looked nervous, as if he carried a heavy secret. You told your story, I will tell mine. He stared into the fire. I was not always an explorer. I was a soldier once, on Earth. My job was to find new planets. But something happened on my last mission, a mistake. People were hurt. I left everything behind. I thought if I came here, I could start again. Lyra watched Jack carefully. She could see pain in his eyes, but also honesty. He was not just a hero. It was someone running from his past, just like her. Jack continued. My real reason for coming here was to find a lost signal. A strange message from this planet. But now, I think the signal was not a warning. It was a cry for help. Maybe it was you. Lyra's eyes widened. You heard us. Jack shook his head. I don't know. But I believe it was someone like you, someone who needed saving. The cave was quiet again, but now it felt different. The secrets between them were gone. There was sadness, but also new trust. Suddenly, Ailani tugged at her mother's sleeve. Mama, what about the monsters? Will they come back? Jack smiled gently. I will keep you safe. I promise. Lyra smiled too. For the first time in days, and I will help you. We are a team now. But as they talked, a faint sound came from Jack's device. He checked it quickly. The blue light was blinking faster. Something big was moving outside the cave, closer than before. Jack's face turned serious. He showed Lyra the scanner. There is something out there. It's not frostlings. It's bigger. Lyra took Ailani's hand. What do we do? Jack stood up and packed his things. We have to leave. Together, we will find my ship. Maybe we can send a message and call for help. Lyra nodded. She stood up, holding Ailani close. For the first time, hope felt real. Maybe they could escape this cold world. The fire burned low as they left the cave, stepping into the weak morning light. Behind them, the shadows hid their secrets. Ahead, a new journey was waiting and new danger just out of sight. But now, they were no longer alone. Morning was fading fast. Jack, Lyra, and Ailani moved carefully through the snow, leaving the safety of the cave behind. The world outside was quiet, but the quiet did not feel safe, felt like something was watching them. Jack walked in front, his eyes on his scanner. The blue light now flashed almost non-stop. Lyra followed close, holding Ailani's hand tightly. Every step made a soft crunch in the frozen ground. The group moved quickly, hoping to reach Jack's ship before darkness returned. But as they climbed a small hill, the scanner beeped loud and sharp. Jack stopped, his face tense. Something. It's close. It's big. We need to hide. They hurried behind a broken piece of rock, hearts pounding. Jack peeked over the edge. In the distance, a dark shadow was moving across the snow. It was tall, much taller than any. It moved slowly, but with purpose, like it knew where it was going. Lyra whispered, "What is it?" Jack shook his head. "Not a creature. It's a machine. Maybe a robotor, a hunter." The shadow came closer. Now they could see its legs, metal, and sharp. Its body was made of shining black metal, covered in strange marks and glowing red lights. It made no sound, but every step left a mark in the snow that steamed and sizzled. Ailani gasped. "It's looking for us." The machine stopped and scanned the area. A red beam of light swept over the ground, coming closer and closer to their hiding place. Lyra pulled Ailani into her arms and held her breath. Jack pulled a small device. From his bag a mirror, he waited for the red light to get near, then quickly pointed the mirror at it. The light bounced away, hitting a patch of snow behind them. The machine turned, confused. It let out a deep mechanical roar, searching for the source. For a moment, they were safe. But Jack knew this trick would not work for long. "We have to move now," he whispered. They ran from the rocks, keeping low. The machine turned back, its head snapping toward them. It started to follow, faster now, its legs breaking through ice and stone. Jack reached a deep ditch and waved for Lyra and Ailani to jump. In, they slid down just as the machine's shadow passed over them. The robot stopped above, scanning the ground. They could hear its gears worry, searching for any sign of life. Lyra hugged Ailani tight, whispering comfort in her ear. Jack pressed his back to the icy wall, silent, barely breathing. The robot lingered, then stomped away, fooled for now. But they all knew it would be back. Jack whispered, "This was sent here to find something. Oh, maybe us. Maybe your ship, Lyra. We have to keep moving." Lyra nodded, her eyes full of worry. "Who sent it?" Jack's face grew hard. "I don't know. But if someone wants us found, it's not for good reasons." Ailani looked up, brave but scared. "Will we ever be safe?" Jack took her hand, his voice firm. "Yes, but only if we work together." The sun was already sinking. They climbed out of the ditch and hurried across the snowy field, always watching for the shadow behind them as they moved. Lyra saw something glimmer under the snow, a piece of her broken ship. She picked it up, turning it over. It was a piece of a control panel, but it had a secret message inside a small blinking light. Lyra's heart skipped. Maybe there was hope. Maybe a signal was still being sent. She showed Jack, "If this is working, maybe someone from my world is still out there. Maybe help is coming." Jack smiled, a spark of hope in his tired eyes. "Let's reach my ship. Maybe together we can send a stronger message." But as they moved on, none of them noticed the hidden camera inside the robot's head. Far away, someone else was watching them on a screen, a mysterious figure with cold, shining eyes and a plan of their own. The enemy was no longer just outside. It was watching, listening, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The sun was low and orange in the sky as Jack, Lyra, and Ailani hurried across the frozen land. Their footprints stretched behind them, 3 lines winding through a sea of ice. The robot hunter was gone for now, but every shadow made them nervous. They moved quickly, always looking back as they crossed a wide, frozen river. The ice cracked under their feet. Jack waved his arms, telling them to go slow. "Step only where I step," he warned. The ice groaned, but they made it across, hearts beating fast. On the other side, the land changed. Icy trees stood like tall statues. The wind whistled through, their sharp, silver branches making a sad song. Elani held her mother's hand and looked up in wonder. "It's beautiful," she whispered, but the beauty did not last long. As night began to fall, the temperature dropped even lower. Jack pulled a tiny tent from his bag. It grew bigger with a press of a button, enough for all three to crawl inside. Inside, it was warmer, but hunger was growing. Jack divided the last of his food, a few dry biscuits and a small fruit from his home planet. Lyra thanked him. "You share everything with us." "Why?" Jack smiled. "On Earth, we say, a friend in trouble is a friend forever." Elani giggled softly. "You are a funny human." They told stories as the wind howled outside. Jack talked about blue oceans and tall green trees from Earth. Lyra spoke about her home with silver skies and floating gardens. Elani listened wide-eyed, imagining these places she had never seen. That night, as they tried to sleep, Jack heard a soft, beeping noise coming from Lyra's pocket. She pulled out the broken ship's control panel. The blinking light was brighter now. It was sending a signal. Jack's eyes grew hopeful. That means someone is close enough to hear us. Maybe rescue is coming. But at that same moment, his own scanner flashed a red warning. Something was coming fast. The robot hunter had found their trail again. There was no time to lose. They packed the tent and hurried on through the dark. Jack led the way with his blue light stick, lighting the path ahead. At the edge of the icy forest, they found strange marks in the snow giant claw prints. Far bigger than any frostling. Elani stopped, scared. What made those tracks? Jack studied them, his face serious. Something we don't want to meet. We must go around. They moved in silence, but each step was harder than the last. Lyra slipped on the ice, hurting her leg, but Jack helped her up. Elani grew tired, but her mother carried her when she could. Finally, just before dawn, they saw a dark shape on the horizon. Jack's ship. It was half buried in snow, but it was real. They hurried to the door, shivering with excitement and fear. Inside the ship, Jack tried to power it up. The controls sparked and buzzed. "It's damaged," he said, worry in his voice. "But I think I can fix it." Lyra used her own skills, helping with alien tools she carried. Elani watched, handing them parts when they asked. Together, they worked as a true team. As the sun rose, the radio inside the ship crackled. A strange voice spoke in a language Lyra recognized. It was her people. They were searching for survivors. But outside, the robot hunter appeared on the hill. Its red eyes glowed brighter than ever. It began to run straight toward the ship, tearing through snow and ice. Jack looked at Lyra. "Get ready. This is our last chance." Together, they prepared for the final stand. 3 survivors, stronger because they had each other. The journey was almost over, but the biggest fight was yet to come. Snow blew in wild circles around the half-buried spaceship. Inside, Jack, Lyra, and Elani worked fast, sweat on their faces even in the cold. Jack pulled wires and checked screens. Lyra pressed strange symbols on a silver device. Elani, brave and small, watched the doorway with wide eyes, clutching a piece of metal for protection. Suddenly, the ground shook. The robot hunter appeared over the hill, its red eyes glowing like fire in the dark. Each step made the earth tremble. The robot raised an arm. A weapon was inside, ready to fire. Jack shouted, "Lyra, hide with Ilani. I will stop it." But Lyra shook her head. "No, we fight together. We are stronger as a team." The robot stomped closer, metal claws digging into the snow. Its voice was a low, harsh growl. "Survivors, surrender." Jack ran outside with his blue light stick, waving his arms to get the robot's attention. "Come and get me," he yelled, trying to lead it away from the ship. The robot fired a red beam. Jack dove and rolled, barely escaping. The beam melted a line in the snow, turning it to steam. Inside the ship, Lyra searched her pockets. She remembered something: the small control panel from her crashed ship. Quickly, she connected it to Jack's ship's radio. The broken panel's light flashed faster, then brighter, a hidden signal code from her people. Outside, the robot caught Jack with its huge metal claw, lifting him off the ground. Jack struggled, his face turning red. The robot's grip was strong, too strong. Suddenly, a new sound filled the sky. A strange spaceship, silver and round, came down fast from the clouds. It hovered over the ground, humming with power. Lyra grabbed the radio. In her own language, she shouted, "This is Lyra. We are here. Help us, please." A voice replied, "Hold on, we are coming." A beam of blue light shot from the rescue ship. It hit the robot hunter, making sparks fly. The robot dropped Jack in the snow. The rescue ship landed and opened its door. Several figures in silver suits rushed out, holding tools that glowed with blue light. The robot tried to fight back, swinging its metal arms. But together, Jack, Lyra, and the rescuers battled the machine. Jack used his blue stick to shock its sensors. Lyra pressed buttons on her control panel, sending a jamming signal. The rescuers fired blue beams, freezing the robot's joints. Ilani, hiding under the ship, cheered for her mother and her new friend. With a final loud pop, the robot froze and fell into the snow, its red eyes fading to black. Everyone rushed to Jack. Lyra hugged him tight, tears in her eyes. "You saved us," she whispered. Jack smiled, tired but happy. "No, we saved each other." The rescuers welcomed Lyra and Ilani onto their ship. Jack stood at the door, watching them with pride and a little sadness. Lyra turned and reached out her hand. "Come with us, Jack. You have no home here. With us, you have a family." Jack looked at the cold, empty world behind him. Then he smiled, taking Lyra's hand. "Yes, let's go home together." The rescue ship rose into the sky, leaving the frozen planet far behind. Inside, Lyra and Ilani sat with Jack, smiling for the first time in many days. They had escaped the cold, the monsters, and the machines. But more than that, they had found hope and family. And far away, on a bright new world, a new adventure was waiting.